Hello again, welcome back everybody. My name's Crystal and this is my channel, My Social Thread. So today I'm going to be sharing with you another interview with a sewing vlogger. Her name is Liz from The Baker That Sews on Instagram and also The Baker That Sews on YouTube. I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you. Hello, everybody. So today we're joined by Liz, the baker that sews on Instagram, where she has almost 6,000 followers. She also has a YouTube channel, again, called The Baker That Sews, where she has more than 5,500 subscribers, can you believe? She's a wife, mother, vlogger, blogger, and also a teacher by day. Hello, Liz. How are you?
Hello, I'm really good. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you so much for asking me to join you today.
Oh, thank you very much for saying yes. So today is going to be an interview about you and your sewing journey. So shall we begin? The general question, when and how did you first start sewing?
So I started sewing in 2017, so like the beginning of that year. And the reason I'd always wanted to learn to sew, I got a sewing machine for my 30th birthday, but then just it stayed in the box for about 2 years and I didn't touch it. And it was only when my husband said, I'm going to sell the sewing machine, you're never going to use it, let's just get it out of our house, it's, you know, clogging up space. That was kind of the push that I needed to get the machine out of the box and just have a go. I've been really inspired by learning to sew with the Sewing Bee. Absolutely love watching it every year. And it is something that I've always wanted to do. My mum sews. She used to make clothes for myself and my siblings when we were young. But she was so busy like with work and stuff that she never really got around to showing me. So I know it's something that I've always wanted to learn to do. And yeah, from the minute I started, I've just been hooked ever since. And most of my wardrobe now is me made. I don't buy shop bought anymore, which is, yeah, exactly what I wanted to be sort of doing. Because my body proportions also mean that if I'm buying shop bought, things don't always fit me properly. So yeah, that's how I started.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are like you. And I mean, like myself as well, you know, sewing, you know, you always wanted to do it, but you know, sometimes you procrastinate. It's funny how you say you had your sewing machine in a box for 2 years and you were threatened almost. Wow. So basically we have your husband to thank for all this lovely content that you're putting out there.
Absolutely.
How and when did you start vlogging? Because obviously sewing is one thing, vlogging is a whole totally new
totally
as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so I really enjoyed watching vlogs, you know, since I started learning to sew. I think, you know, a lot of us, we get our inspiration from watching vloggers, and that kind of supported me with my journey into sewing. And I just found watching vlogs really inspiring. I love sewing with a vlog on in the background. It feels like you've got a friend just on the, you know, on the TV whilst you're sewing, you know. And I think for me, my journey into vlogging really started when lockdown happened, and it was sort of a way to connect with other people. My day job, I'm a teacher, and it's a very busy job, and you know, it's very sociable. I spend most of my day talking, whether that's with 4-year-olds or grown-ups. I spend a lot of my day talking. So when lockdown happened, I was, you know, removed from the classroom for a while, and it was a very different environment, and teaching was very different. And I think for a lot of us, that connectivity with other people was gone, and I just found vlogging was a way of connecting with other people again. And yeah, it was quite nerve-wracking starting the journey into vlogging, but most of the feedback has been really positive. And you know, we do get the odd tiny little sort of criticism here and there, but most of it is really supportive, and there's lots of amazing vloggers out there, and there's a real community feel to vlogging. And I think, you know, that kind of pushed me, lockdown kind of pushed me into just going for it, and I've really enjoyed sharing my journey ever since.
Excellent. And I also think, what do you think about it's also a way to catalogue your makes as well, isn't it? So you can look back on it yourself or for your own children, just to, you know, have everything all in one place. YouTube has it all.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the vlogs that I do every Sunday, like my Sunday sewing catch up, almost acts as a sewing diary for myself, where, you know, I reflect on what I've done that week, what my sewing plans are, whether things have gone well or not. And yeah, it's absolutely a place to document as well, and share that with people, and also get some support. Definitely. You know, when things haven't necessarily gone as well as you'd expect them to, or you've needed support with a particular aspect of a pattern, I found that a really great way of connecting with other people.
Lovely. And as you say as well, the comments for the most part are really positive. And I find that's really nice when people comment on my vlogs, for example, or they say, you know, oh, I had that problem, or, and it's just really uplifting, isn't it? And presumably with you and your sort of 5,500 subscribers, you must get so many lovely comments.
Yeah, I mean, that's a job in itself, replying to people. I do try and get back to people as quickly as I can, but I have got a backlog of comments. So I get there eventually, and I have to sort of set some time aside each week to reply to people. But yeah, it's really lovely, and I really enjoy that interactiveness of vlogging.
Yeah, I'm going to talking about the vlogging. What sort of equipment do you use? Anything special equipment wise, or is it just sort of your mobile phone? What do you use?
Yeah, I'm really basic. I'm saving up at the moment to get like a proper vlogging camera of high quality, but I just use my phone at the moment. I've got a tripod. Sometimes I've got like a ring light that I'll use occasionally, but most of the time I'll film sort of during the daylight. And yeah, it's just my phone, and then I just use iMovie on my phone to edit the videos.
Lovely, yeah. I've currently got a ring light on at the moment because I'm in a really dark room. I'm in my husband's office. But yeah, sorry. Excellent. So as you say, you're a teacher. Sort of what years do you teach?
So I teach reception, so they're 4 and 5. Yeah, I absolutely love my job. The children are just amazing. Every day is completely different. I love their little personalities, and quite often I'll think about what I'm teaching and try and bring that into what I'm wearing. So I've got quite a lot of garments that relate to stories that I know that I'm going to be using, or I've got quite a lot of like Christmas themed outfits that I can wear to school, and I really love that element of being able to make my own clothes and bring it into the classroom. I think it's really fun.
Lovely. I remember seeing, I think it was on one of your vlogs, you made a hungry little caterpillar dress with the buttons and everything. I just thought that was so adorable. And also your personality suits very much sort of that of a fun teacher. So I think, yeah, it suits you very well.
Thank you.
So when you're not a teacher, you're at home busy sewing. What sort of sewing machines do you have?
So I've got a Pfaff Quilt Ambition 2.0, which I got a couple of years ago when I upgraded. And before that I had a Janome. So now my daughters use my Janome sewing machine when they want to sew. And then my overlock is a Brother. It's a Brother Lock 734DS. Okay. So those are the two machines that I've got, and I love sewing on both of them.
Cover stitch, would you consider getting one, do you think?
I don't think I need a cover stitch at the moment. Yeah, and to be honest, I don't know enough about a cover stitch to know what other things it can do. At the moment, I'm really happy with my Pfaff. It does quite a lot. It's a really stable machine, and it can handle quite a lot of materials as well, which is great.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So what's your favorite, this is going to be a hard one, your favorite make to date?
That is really hard. I've got quite a lot of favorites. So I was thinking about this question. I mean, I've just made my dream bomber jacket, so I'm going to throw that one in there, which was the rainbow quilted. Yeah, that was just really fun. And I think I'd been planning that project for such a long time that, when it finally was finished and it was exactly how I'd imagined, and it just really makes me smile. I can't wait to wear it to school next week when we go back. I've got a couple of denim jackets, which I think for me, the reason they're favourites is because it demonstrated, I think, personal achievement for myself, that actually I've come so far in my sewing journey that I can tackle things like a denim jacket that's got loads of intricate, pattern pieces and requires quite precise sewing. And then my jeans that I've just sewn quite recently for backstitch. I think, again, a personal achievement in terms of fitting the jeans. I think fitting trousers has always been something that I've been really terrified about. Inserting a zip fly, I've always been quite nervous about doing that. So being able to sew a pair of jeans that fits me really well, and actually the construction, came out much better than I was expecting it to. I think that just reflects how far I've come in my sewing journey.
And it's always exciting once you get a garment that you've learnt something new and the garment fits and it's like beautifully made.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What's your least favorite make, do you think, or a sewing fail? Do you have?
I do. I've just recently had a sewing fail, actually. I shared it over on my Instagram stories, and I talk about it in my latest Sunday sewing catch up. I sewed up a nest skirt to be in the buttons pattern.
Okay.
It was a pattern that I cut out 2 years ago. So before I sort of got into thinking about garment fitting and all that kind of thing, the construction was absolutely fine, but it was the fit of the skirt. I've ended up with this weird like lump thing on the back of the yoke, and it just doesn't fit me very nicely at all. And then I shared a vlog in January where I talked about my least favorite makes for last year, and in that was the Nassima jumpsuit by Sew Over It, which is a jersey jumpsuit. It's got quite a low like V neckline, and something went wrong with the construction of that. It's kind of all gone a bit skew width, and it doesn't sit very nicely on me, and the bodice is a bit too short. And I think the lessons I've learned from both of those makes is the importance of toiling before I do something.
I was going to say, with your makes, do you revisit them, or does it stay in like a UFO pile for a while, or what do you do, or do you just not go back to that pattern again, or what do you do?
Yeah, so I've been reflecting on the nest skirt because it was the first time I'd sewn it up. A couple of people commented to say they'd had similar sort of fit issues. I'm probably not going to go back to that pattern, just because there's a couple of other patterns that I know fit me really well, like the Nina Lee Camden skirt is a skirt pattern that's similar, and it fits me really well. So I feel like I might as well invest the time in making a few of those rather than trying to make the nest skirt fit me. With the Nassima jumpsuit, I've got it here actually. The fabric. Yeah, I absolutely love the fabric. It's gorgeous. It's a cotton jersey. It's really bright and really fun. And I need to, totally me. I need to unpick the bodice and unpick the neckline. And I was given lots of suggestions on how to rescue it. So because I love this fabric, I'll definitely rescue it. With the nest skirt, there's no rescuing it at all. So if I can salvage things, then I will go back and try and fix them. But yeah, this one I will. The nest skirt, no. I'll give this to my children. I think I've got two girls, one's 11, one's 13. So I think this might fit them. So I'll pass it on to them and see if they want it in their wardrobe.
Yeah, that's always handy. I've made the nest skirt once, and I didn't have the bulk at the back, but it was much larger than, well, it didn't fit me. It was far too big, but I haven't yet revisited it. That's on my UFO pile as well. Next question. Are you a tracer or a cutter, Liz?
I'm both.
You're both.
So I'm a tracer. If it's a paper pattern, I'll trace it.
Yeah.
If it's a PDF that I've stuck together, I'll cut straight into it. I can't be bothered to then trace it once I've put it together. But to be honest, I use copy shop more often than piecing PDFs together. Yeah. There's so many copy shop, companies out there now that aren't too expensive. Generally, I'll send it off to get copy shop printed, and then I'll trace it.
Oh, and then you trace it, because I was thinking actually, because one sheet is now what I think is normally like £1.50 per sheet or something. And I was thinking actually it's probably worth, just buying it and cutting and then just have it printed again, because it does take a while to, unless you're sort of in that mode to cut and sellotape things together. Sometimes it does take quite a while, doesn't it, to sellotate? Yeah, especially if it's like a dress. Time. Yeah. It's like 48 pages or something. So okay, lovely. So next question. Favorite print. What's your go-to print, do you think?
Floral. I've got a lot of floral. Yeah, I love anything bright, anything colourful, anything floral.
Lovely. And your least favorite print?
My least favorite, anything that's too dark. So I don't have a lot of dark fabrics in my stash. I tend to go for things that have got like a white background with floral. So anything with like a black background. I don't have a huge amount of fabrics in my stash that have got dark background.
Okay. What do you do for the winter then? Autumn, winter? Do you still wear bright clothing in the autumn, winter? Well, that's nice to know. No, that is nice to know, because I think normally people go for darker colours, don't they, for autumn, winter, and lighter colours for spring, summer, but you do it throughout all the seasons, which is fab.
All through. Yeah. And it's interesting, before I started sewing, my colour palette was all black, grey, navy. It's only when I've started making my own clothes that I've reached for the colour. I find that quite an interesting sort of fact about myself, that
that's good.
That, 5 or 6 years ago, my colour palette was all darks and greys and, quite dark colours, really. But now my wardrobe is completely the opposite. It's just like a rainbow of colours.
That's amazing. So sewing has brought colour to your life.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think it's just given me a confidence in the clothes that I wear as well.
I find that as well. I find when I'm wearing a me made, I just feel so much more confident, and the fact that I've made it as well, it's just like such a nice feeling, isn't it, to wear sort of a me made garment that looks beautiful and fits beautifully.
Definitely. How confident are you though at saying to people, if someone says to you, Crystal, I really love what you're wearing today, will you say to them, I made it?
I always try to get it in, yes, because I think I always do. Although for the most part, most of my friends know that I sew now anyway, so they just assume it's me made. But on the opposite side though, it's like when I do go out with friends, I always try to make sure I'm wearing a Me Made, because they always assume I am, and if I'm wearing a shop bought item, they'll be like, oh, you bought that one. So it's kind of like, oh yeah, sorry. But yeah, I know what you mean. Going to the next question, what's your favorite fabric base?
I love a cotton. So cotton lawn, cotton poplin. And I think, you know, when you're first learning to sew, what I love about cotton is it's quite stable, it's breathable, it's comfortable to wear. Cotton lawn, I love how light it is, and it's quite floaty, and it works really well with so many different patterns. It's a really good fabric to sort of begin with, and I still sew quite a lot with cotton lawn, cotton poplin.
And it's easy to press as well. It presses really nicely, doesn't it? It's pressed really nicely. Yeah, I like a
you
good
can get a really crisp finish.
Definitely, which is nice. Yeah. And what's the last fabric store you bought from, and what was it?
So I've got two fabrics to talk about. The first one is a ribbing, so it's not as exciting as Beast fabric, but I've got some baby pink ribbing that I got from Firstly Fabrics, because I'm making another bomber jacket in like a duck egg blue coating fabric. So I'm denied about what ribbing to match with it, and I think I'm going to go for the baby pink ribbing. And then the other fabric that I bought recently was from Fabric Godmother. It's some more quilting fabric. But it's got
another bomber jacket, or
bomber jacket. My class is called Tiger class. So I love tigers. My youngest daughter loves tigers too. And this fabric, as soon as I saw it, I was like, I have to have that to make a bomber jacket.
So it's a tiger print quilted fabric.
Yeah, let me grab it. Look at it. Oh, it's here. It's got big cats all over it.
I saw that actually. I saw that on Fabric Mother. Wow, that would look amazing.
So a couple of meters. I can't wait to turn that into a jacket, and I just know that the children are going to love it, because we've got two little teddies that they get to take home each week that are tigers. So I know they're going to love it if I wear that to school.
That's so lovely how you always think of the children. Who's your favorite fabric designer? Or
so I've got a couple. I love Liberty. I think that cute ditzy floral design. They've always got beautiful colour palettes with their fabrics too. Rifle Paper Company, again, the beautiful florals that they do. But also, really bold colours and just gorgeous. I love florals. The Fabric Godmother prints, you know, Josie does her own selection of fabric. They're quite retro design and quite fun and colourful and really playful. And then the Nerida Hansen prints that Sister Mintaka normally stock. I haven't actually got any. I've admired them because they're quite pricey fabrics.
They are very pricey,
nice bright colours.
Definitely. You know, I did buy some Nerida Hansen fabric from Sew Me Sunshine for my Sew Recreate the Look entry. They had the sale on at the time, but it is very, very expensive, I think. So going on to the next question, actually, what's the most expensive piece of fabric you've ever bought?
So I've got some wool coating fabric that I got from New Craft House, which is one of my Make 9 fabrics. It was quite expensive. I think it was about £35 a metre, which is the most I've spent on fabric. But I'm going to turn it into, I keep saying this, the Heather Blazer, Friday Pattern Company Heather Blazer. I've seen so many gorgeous versions of that pattern. I need to just get on with it. I think because the fabric was quite pricey, it's kind of... I'm hesitant about cutting into it.
Indeed, yeah. I'm planning a Heather Blazer, but I'm going to do like a spring summer one.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, I've not made a blazer before, but again, like you, I think I just need to do it. And also because it's not fitted as well, it's not too, I think fitting issues are not that many from what I've seen. So that's quite a good one to start with blazer wise, I think. What's your must-have sewing tool, Liz, in your sewing room there?
I've got a few behind me to show you.
Are
they? So seam unpicker, always. Never without my seam unpicker. Snips. I've got several pairs of little snips. I think they're really important to have as well. And then I don't tend to pin. I tend to use the little clips. So I've got the little clips. I much prefer using those because they don't tend to mark the fabric. So I'd say they're my must-have. And also, I haven't got it to hand, but tape measure.
Of course.
I always remeasure myself before any pattern that I'm going to tackle.
Makes sense. Did you
So
know that those tape measures apparently stretch over time and you're supposed to replace them sort of every couple of years? I didn't know that.
oh, okay, yeah, that's a good tip.
That's a good tip, yeah. In terms of vlogs that you watch, what was the last one you watched recently?
So my daughters and I, we watched Satisfaction this morning because they've just released their video on how to make the little Easter bag. So occasionally my girls will dabble in a bit of sewing. So we've still got a week of the Easter break together. So we watched that vlog this morning, and I think we're going to have a go at making the little Easter bags.
Oh, that's good, because I know Shona kind of took a break on YouTube, didn't she? And it's nice that she's vlogging again. So I must look out for that. I know. Nice. We probably have answered this question already, but what's your color palette? What sort of colors do you go for?
Bright, colorful. Right.
Yeah. And the next question, what's your design aesthetic? I know you've answered this already, but I guess.
So yeah, design aesthetic, like floaty dresses. I'm really loving big poofy sleeves at the moment.
I think everyone is.
Yeah, anything with a ruffle. I love ruffles and anything. Like my favorite dress patterns, the Dear and Joe Myosotis with the ruffle on the sleeve, the ruffle on the skirt, nice and floaty. Yeah, that's
what are you wearing at the moment? Sorry, Liz, is that a me made?
Yeah, this is the Tilly and the Button Lyra shirt dress.
I love the Lyra. I've got like 7, so I love the Lyra. Next question: bias bound or facings, Liz? What do you prefer?
Bias bound.
Oh, really? Yeah, okay, yeah. And do you make
I like it, or do you? Yeah, I do tend, because I like it to match whatever you're sewing. So I do tend to make my own.
And you've got
that little, sorry?
You have that little tool thing that you use to make bias bounding. You know that, yeah, you have one of those.
Yeah.
And you just
quite therapeutic.
Yeah, oh, is it? Yeah, I guess it depends on what I'm making. Facings or bias. I guess bias banding takes longer, right? Because facings, yeah.
It's fiddly, but yeah, I just prefer. I found with some, not all patterns, but I found with some patterns with facings, they have a tendency, especially around the neckline, to pop out a little bit, like creep out. So I like bias bound because it's quite neat. You don't tend to get that.
That's true. That's very true. Next question: sewing fails or sewing faux pas. What you shouldn't do, but you do, or anything along those lines.
Sometimes I don't twirl.
You don't twirl, yeah.
Sometimes I'll just dive straight in and not twirl. Yeah, it's kind of, sorry if you can hear my girls. Not twirling. Sometimes I won't twirl it. If it's quite a relaxed fit, loose fitting garment, like a dress, floaty dress, then I won't twirl. But I've learnt my lesson in terms of fitting around my tummy and my lower back sort of area. I know that I need to twirl there. So I'd say that's my biggest sewing faux pas.
And do you use sort of just cheaper fabric but nice fabric, so it's a wearable twirl, or do you go for the actual twirl fabric to make one? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll usually go with a fabric that hopefully I can get a wearable twirl out of. But not too expensive.
Definitely.
Yeah, I've got some cotton poplins in my stash that work really well for a twirl. So sometimes I'll use that. I did that recently when I was twirling. I did actually twirl the I Am Sunshine jeans. And I used just a cotton poplin for that. And actually it was really useful because I could see the areas where I needed to take excess fabric out, or, the lines on the pattern that I needed to tweak. So it was a really insightful process.
And can you wear the cotton poplin jeans?
No.
Because I was going to say, what does that look like? Maybe for around.
Yeah, maybe around the house, but I definitely wouldn't wear it out of the house.
In terms of sewing, what have you learned anything recently new about sewing, or in life in general? Any sort of fun things that you've learned?
Just the importance of twirling. I think that is the lesson at the moment. Twirl. I think really proud of the fitting that I've learned in terms of the jeans. I know I keep going on about these jeans, but I went on quite a journey with them, and learning to do a zip fly, because for years I put off doing that, and actually it wasn't as difficult as I was expecting it to be. I think it was just about finding the right pattern to show me how to do it correctly. And the same with the button fly. both of those aspects of sewing I was quite scared about sort of tackling.
Yeah.
But the Anna Allen Persephone pattern, her instructions are incredible.
Oh,
so if anyone's looking to learn that skill, I would definitely point you in the direction of that. And actually the I Am Sunshine, they've got a really detailed blog that shows you how to do the zip fly as well.
Oh, with the zip fly, does the Nesca have a zip fly? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the first time I did a zip fly as well with a Ness. And it was just so fiddly and complicated, but her instructions are very good, Tilly. So yeah. So next question, what's on your cutting table at the moment? Do you have a new project on the go?
So at the moment I'm currently filming I did a hack of the Tilly and the Buttons pearl cardigan, which is like a wrap cardigan, and I turned it into a maxi dress. So I'm sewing that up at the moment and filming a tutorial. And then I've got some pajamas cut out using the Nina Lee, what's her pattern called?
Carolyn?
No, I can't remember the name of the pattern. It's the Nina Lee pajama pattern.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name. All I can think of
that's closet core, isn't it? Caroline pajamas, I think. Yeah.
Nina Lee blue. Is it blue? No, not Bloom's blue blouse. I can't remember the name of the pattern. But anyway, it's the Nina Lee pajama pattern. That's what I'm cut out at the moment.
Excellent. And when you're not sewing and when you're not teaching or being a mummy, do you have any other hobbies, or does sewing take up all of your hobby time?
I bake, obviously. I love baking. Yes. I do love listening to podcasts or audiobooks because I can have that on whilst I'm sewing. I also love running. So I try and get out and run 3 times a week if I can. Because again, it's just really good for me to get out and get some sort of quiet.
Of course. And back to your Instagram handle, the baker that sews, and why do you, obviously you bake as well. So how is the baking going and how did that come about?
So my Instagram page originally started as a baking sort of Instagram. I've got a cake business alongside teaching. So I do markets once a month. So it did originally start as baking, and then sewing just took over and I started sharing more sewing. And I used to be called Ruby Lola's Cakery on the Instagram. I've now got a separate page for that because that's what my business is called. And then I wanted to make sure that I could still incorporate baking into my sewing name, so I came up with the Baker That Sews. So I do try and share some baking on my sewing page as well as sewing. But yeah, that's where the name came from.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, I will link all of the, if you give me all your details for your baking business as well, I will link that all down in the description below for our viewers. Next question, any tips for somebody that wants to start sewing? Do you have any tips?
So I would say just do it. Don't be scared, like I was for 2 years. There's so many videos out there, there's blogs. I would say start off with a pattern that uses cotton, because cotton is such a stable fabric. Cotton poplin, best friend for when you're first learning to sew. You can start off either by sewing something like a pin cushion, which is one of the first things that I sewed up, or like the Tilly and the Buttons patterns are brilliant for beginners.
I agree.
Helen's Closet patterns are great for beginners. Friday Pattern Company patterns, I'd say they're great for beginners as well. There are so many just amazing independent pattern companies out there that have got really detailed pattern instructions. And I'd say reach out as well. If you're sewing something up and it doesn't make sense or you need support with something, absolutely reach out and just ask for help, because I've found that to be the best thing over on Instagram. If something hasn't turned out how I wanted, or there's an instruction that doesn't quite make sense to me, I've just put a question on my Instagram stories or on my feed, and I've had loads of people get back to me and give me top tips.
And it's a thing as well about the sewing community, everyone's so friendly, which is really nice, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So again, tips for vlogging this time.
Again, just go for it. Don't be scared. I think I started vlogging and then I kind of I started and then I stopped for like a month, and then, like I said, lockdown happened and it just kind of pushed me into it. You will get the occasional strange comment on your videos, but on the whole, everybody's really supportive, really kind, really caring, and there's such a lovely sewing community out there. And it kind of really spurs you on and motivates you to want to continue making the videos.
Definitely. No, it is very uplifting. So sewing in general, what does it mean to you? How important is it to you?
I think sewing has helped me gain confidence. you know, up to sort of 6-7 years ago, I've always been a really painfully shy person. You know, in social situations, and when I was a teenager, I was bullied quite heavily, and that kind of influenced what I became as an adult. And I think that's part of the reason why I've gone into teaching, because I don't want any child to have that experience when they're at school. I want them to feel really supported. And I think sewing, because it's something that's unique to me, I know nobody else has got anything. You know, they might have the same fabric, but they haven't got the same dress as me. They haven't got the same blouse as me. And it's just been an opportunity for me to build up my own confidence. And yeah, I don't know, just feel more confident in who I am as a person and share that with people.
Oh, well, I'm glad that sewing has brought you. I mean, you seem like a very confident person to me. You seem happy and bubbly. And I'm so sorry that you were bullied when you were younger. That's an awful thing to have to go through. So, but it's nice that you're now, you know, sort of being that sort of like when you're a teacher now, and like you say, it's nice that you don't want any other children to sort of go through what you went through. So that's really lovely, Liz.
It's just really important for me. I want children to feel happy when they're at school, and I just think that is really important.
And I'm sure you do bring happiness in, especially with all your with all your lovely, beautiful clothing that ties in with today's lessons and everything. That is so nice. So lastly, Liz, I was just wondering, will you be joining the Selfless Sew April Challenge?
Definitely, yes. Excellent. I've got 2 things that I've sewn up already as part of the Selfless Sew. My husband's requested a couple of shirts, so I'll definitely be sewing a couple of shirts for him as well.
Oh, that's so nice. Well, thank you so much, Liz, for your time. Thank you for talking to us. I will link all of your descriptions below. So if anybody doesn't already follow Liz on Instagram, it's The Baker That Sews. Again, on YouTube, The Baker That Sews. Thank you so much, Liz.
Thank you so much, Crystal. It's been really lovely talking to you today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.